It means to learn everything, to think about things.
6 plus 6 is 12.
Somebody who knows most of the answers.
It means to learn a lot. It means you have to answer whatever question.
What if education is cute? The education of learning?
The education of reading.
A board.
It's a learning thing what you should do. A board piece of paper. I got no idea. The funnest thing I like at school is being best friends with everybody at school.
Recess.
Mostly when I go into my classroom in the morning.
And you get to learn, because learning is fun and get you more, get wrinkles.
Reading and writing. When people learn a lot and the teacher does not yell.
To learn.
Because we get to play outside with our friends. We follow directions and we get warm fuzzies.
That sheepy is nice to me and she's thoughtful and thankful for me. This is my math teacher. I like the way she smiles.
Because she helps us learn.
Because she's fun and she teaches you stuff.
Because she's super nice.
The principal that sits in the office. It keeps the children at his office until they're done being bad.
Be nice.
He tells somebody who is not doing good, or he calls somebody.
Helps people.
A superintendent is somebody that learns.
That means you're super great.
A person who is really smart.
A tenant of learning.
Somebody that's super.
It's what is super and it's great.
Well, welcome everybody. We're glad you're here today. We're not going to have a boring speech by the superintendent. We're going to mix things up today and have some video and have lots of speakers. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes. I'm often asked, what does a superintendent do? I think I now know. Who, me? I don't know. We really have a lot of great talented faculty and staff, and they work with talented kids, and we do some wonderful things in this school district. But that's not news to you. You know that. And we're going to highlight where we're going in the future today, and I think our future is bright. You're going to see some students, but let's thank McKinley Middle School 8th grade brass quartet. Let's see, we have Caleb Clayman, trumpet. Okay, Austin Wake, trumpet. Emma Witt, French horn. And Marcellus Gillis, baritone. Okay, and Director Liz Driscoll. Liz, thank you very much. We're pleased to have great governance systems, great community support systems, agency leaders, government leaders that are all here today too numerous to introduce individually, so I would like the elected officials, the agencies, like the city government. See, Lois, I think you're here. I know Dr. Buck is here. We'll introduce him later. Would all of the agency heads and elected government who provide leadership for our community that are here today, please stand and be recognized. You know, as you follow world events, I'm always struck by the positive and construction and nature of local governments and state governments. It's a great tradition in America. One of our traditions that is unlike any other is local control of boards of education that set policy, hire a superintendent, and hold accountability of local officials like me to a community standard. We are blessed with a great Board of Education. I'd like to introduce them. If you'd please hold your applause. We have Mary Meisterling, President of the Board. Please stand. Alan Witt, Vice President. Gary Anholtz, Director. Nancy Hummels, Director. John Laverty, Director. Ann Rosenthal, Director. And Keith Westerkamp, Director. Let's give our board a hand. This event recognizes the outstanding traditions and history since 1855 of the Cedar Rapids School Districts. While we celebrate our history, we also have to look forward. There were major legislative initiatives passed last year that are going to help shape the future of our school district and school districts across this state, and we're going to talk about some of that today. We're going to give you, I hope, enough detail that you have some understanding of what we're doing, but not enough detail that we're going to take all morning to do it. Okay? But still stay at that high view level so that you have some understanding of how we're going to move the school district forward. One of the ways that we move our school district forward is to recognize our successes and the faculty and staff that are responsible for the education of these students. We are sending out information, and you have some successes. You have our Metro candy bar success. You have some other things at your place. So I want to recognize our students who volunteered to be our guinea pigs for our first mailer that went out to all box holders in Lynn County. So from, please stand, please hold your applause. Jefferson High School, we have Nate Weger and Belenna Park. Kennedy High School, Jimmy Cunningham and Laura Fisher. And Washington High School, Alina Hobbs and Zach Weston. These are our students. And speaking of students, we are very pleased to have a certified budget enrollment of approximately 200 students more this year than previous in our pre-K 8 programming. This is a wonderful recognition of the school district and stops a trend of that's been in place since the flood, and I'll talk more about that later. I also want to recognize the high quality of the faculty and staff of the school district. I know there are faculty and principals here, but all of the principals and those representing the faculty that they've invited today, please stand and accept our recognition for a job well done every day. This year we're going to highlight a new administrative team that we have in place. The Deputy Superintendent, Associate Superintendent, and Executive Director for Pre-K 8 are going to present programs that are going forward, going to change the landscape in our school district. The first presenter today is Val Dozal, Executive Director of Preschool through 8th grade. She will share two initiatives that are occurring in our elementary schools. The first is FLES, Foreign Language in Elementary School program, and the second is the work that we're doing to turn around schools that are not meeting expectations. Val?
Good morning. It is my pleasure to share with you a program that is happening in all of our elementaries in kindergarten through 3rd grade, and it is called FLES, like Dr. Benson said, which stands for Foreign Language in the Elementary Schools. We are honored to have this program now for 3 years, and it's been a great program, and you're going to hear some examples of what has been happening. The other honor we have is that we've now been asked by other districts in Iowa to share how we did this and how they can start piloting and providing this program. So I hope you enjoy this video.
Uno, dos, tres, chumba, que chumba.
Amiga, ¿cómo te sientes?
The Cedar Rapids Community School District started FLES, Foreign Language in the Elementary School, in Spanish, and we started it with kindergarten and 1st grade in 2011, and by the year 2015 we'll expand it into 5th grade so that all elementary students will have the opportunity to have Spanish.
Today we will be talking about emotions. We'll also be talking about parts of the face, and I'll be using a green monster that they haven't seen before. In general, we do a lot of acting out, hand gestures, movement, songs, music. We teach in a lot of different ways, but a lot of it's really engaging.
Starting at this age, they soak it up, they know this, they learn it so much faster than we did when we learned it in high school. We speak to them in Spanish for about 90% of our lessons, and they understand what we're saying and they can communicate with us. It's just important to start at an early age and continue it so that once they get to high school they'll be speaking it, and instead of just beginning at that stage in their life.
Okay, Trevor. ¿Listos?
We just did the toss. It's where you have this big bag, and then Senora Cervantes, she says a number, and then you have to try to hit that number, and you have to know that number.
Gracias.
Probably the thing that's impressed me the most is his recall of the information that he's learning around the dinner table. So he's able to share with us new vocabulary words that he has picked up throughout the week or throughout the day, whatever the situation is, and share those with our whole family.
Fácil or difícil?
I just want parents to know and the community to know that we are not introducing language to them that their students don't already know. When they learn their numbers in English, we can do them in Spanish. So it reinforces what they're already learning in their classrooms.
As you can see, the program will continue to grow. Our plan is in 2 more years we'll be through 5th grade, and we are starting to have conversations of what will that mean for middle school, how will that look as we move into middle school, and then what does that mean for high school as we move forward. So it's a great program, and like I said, we're very happy with the progress that we have seen. The next program that I have the pleasure to share with you today is the work that is happening in our SINA schools. SINA stands for Schools in Need of Assistance. And when a school is deemed a SINA school for 4 years or more, the federal government requires that they go through what we call a restructure process. The district has chosen turnaround specialists to help us with that restructure process. We are bringing in Susan Ledick and Doreen Marvin, who are nationally known as well as worked a lot with schools on the turnaround process. And they are working with all of our 8 schools that are determined SINA 4 or more. And part of the work that they're doing, we're going to have a building share today. So I have with me today Garfield Elementary. I have Joy Long, who is the principal at Garfield. I have Stephen Probert, who is the coach, the instructional coach at Garfield. And I also have Lisa Flaherty and Cheryl Ferguson, who are teachers at Garfield. I hope you enjoy their conversation.
Good morning. You'll notice video playing in the background. The video captured Cheryl and I teaching during observations. It also shows what it looks like during our co-planning sessions. When we first heard that observations were going to be a weekly expectation, it would be fair to say that I experienced some apprehension. This is my 28th year in education, and it has been my experience that principals usually just came in for formal 3-year evals. If they came in other times, I'd ask, do you need something? Frequent observations didn't really happen. Through weekly observations, I feel that Joy knows me better as a teacher. She knows my first graders better as learners and has a genuine idea of what happens daily in my classroom. I believe the process validates and affirms my current practice. The discussions and reflections help stretch my practice, which in turn strengthens student learning.
After we do an observation, the next thing we do is co-planning. We sit down with our observer and we talk about how the lesson went, and we talk about things that we can do to improve our teaching. Once again, that was kind of scary to start with. We didn't know what it would feel like. We didn't know what would be said. At Garfield, we've been doing it for 6 weeks now, and I actually look forward to sitting down with Stephen and talking about how the lesson went. After going to the PLC convention in Minnesota, we came back with these great ideas. And with the co-planning, I'm finally feeling like we are doing those strategies that were taught up in Minnesota at the PLC convention.
So what you're seeing up on the screen is what we would call coaching heavy. What we're seeing on the screen would be things like where the teacher and the instructional coach or the principal are planning the moves that the teacher will be doing in order to improve student learning. And so we're talking about things about like engagement strategies and which priority standards are an emphasis. And what I would say about this is that this was something that prior to the turnaround initiative and the expectation that this went on weekly was not going on by design. It was not as much of a point of emphasis as it is now. And so we're able to then come together and reflect on the instructional strategies that are being used in that lesson and be able to plan for the future. So I'm very excited to see how it impacts student learning.
And as an administrator, you always have good intentions of being that instructional leader and getting into classrooms all of the time and observing, and everything else just gets in the way. But making this a priority, it's on my calendar every week, has really helped me to be the instructional leader that I always wanted to be. The collaboration piece is also a huge piece for me. I've always wanted to be that person that teachers felt that I was more of a coach than their evaluator, and so this has really helped me to do that in a better way. I think as a staff, we are much more focused on laser light instruction, on what we want kids to know and be able to do. And along with that, we have focused heavily on engagement strategies, so our students are much more engaged. So clearly, this is a positive experience for the teachers and the instructional coach and myself as an administrator. But the real winners here are our students, because the better that we get, the better that they're going to get. Thank you.
Well, it's wonderful to see some of our talented teachers present, and Val, we appreciate you organizing that. I think it's important that the audience recognize that in the reform efforts, the transformation efforts that are going on across our state, the idea of teacher engagement and teachers helping teachers through observations and feedback is part of that reform initiative. I want to thank the Cedar Rapids Education Association, led by Sue Clapp and Kim Miller, who are over here, for their cooperation in doing this important work. I believe we were the first large district, maybe the first district in the state, to have our plan for how this initiative would go forward in place, agreed upon, and that is a testament to the cooperation that the district has and the relationship the district has with its teachers and its association. So, Kim and Sue, thank you. It's now my privilege to introduce our Associate Superintendent, Dr. Trace Pickering. The district has been engaged, as many of you know, in a conversation around magnet schools. Dr. Pickering has led that initiative, and he's going to inform you about that, and also an innovative learning option, the Big Ideas program, with Cedar Rapids teacher Sean Cornally. Dr. Pickering.
Good morning. So what is a magnet school? A magnet school is a school of choice where parents and children have a choice of attending that particular school or not. And it uses a theme to connect with kids' interests and passions so that we can drive deeper learning. And as all of us know, if I'm really interested or passionate about something, the learning comes quite naturally. It's part of the public school system, so our elected Board of Education would manage that school just like they do all the other schools. So in that regard, it's much different than what you might hear from a charter school. We've engaged our community in conversations over the last 2 months about the possibility of bringing magnets to our community, both online and in person. What we're really trying to do when we went out to the community is ask the question, what is it we want for all of our children? And once we defined as a group, what is it we want for all of our children, then we looked at magnet schools and said, well, magnet schools help us move in that direction. And so those conversations, as I said, just wrapped up. The results are going to be given to our School Improvement Advisory Committee in January. They will formulate a recommendation based upon the input to Dr. Benson and the board on January 22nd. You can still weigh in on your thoughts and ideas on engagecrschools.com. That site will stay open right up until our SIAC meeting. The initial results are pretty positive. I think overall our community wants us to continue pushing on innovative kinds of things. In that vein, we also wanted to find ways to bring examples of, so what does this look like? People can kind of conceptually understand schools have to look different, but so what do they look like? And so we teamed up this year with the Gazette Company to start the Big Ideas program as an effort to begin to show the community, here's what schools of the future could look like. Here's one possibility. It's currently an elective option for high school students. We've painted it as you can use it as a way to build your resume, so take the great things you've been doing in your high school and build some resume things for your college applications. Or if you're a student who's, for whatever reason, lost that hope or glimmer of wanting to learn and get engaged, this is one way we can help them get re-excited about their learning. The Big Ideas School, or Big Ideas program, is focused on 4 integrated themes. It's project-driven, it's passion-fueled, it's community-facing, and it's competency-based. And to tell you a little bit more about that, I'm going to have Sean, our lead teacher at Big, share a little bit more.
Thanks, Trace. I just want to take a second to thank the Cedar Rapids Community School District. I'm a 2002 Kennedy grad, and to be able to come back and lead a program like this is a little bit surreal and a little bit sort of an affirmation of going off and getting a master's degree in education and coming back and being able to serve the community that I love. Big is what we lovingly call the Big Ideas Group, and Big is an entrepreneurial endeavor. We talked to business leaders, nonprofit leaders, concerned members of the community about what should our students be able to do. And they all came back with things that were what we call 21st century skills. Being able to email, being able to time manage, being able to run a project to its completion, being able to fail gracefully and come back from that, being able to have an idea and act on it. And we said, well, how do we build that into an educational environment that's specifically designed for those things? Our current high schools do an amazing job of introducing students to these ideas. but we wanted to design an experience that was specifically centered on pushing students into learning those specific skills. And that's what we call BIG. Like Dr. Pickering said, the 3 tenets of a BIG project are that the student is in love with the project. The second one is that the project is interdisciplinary. So it can't just be science, it can't just be math, it can't just be writing a paper. They have to be connected. And the third tenet of the BIG project is that the audience for the project has to be authentic. It has to be outside the school wall. If I'm writing a paper, it can't be for my teacher. It has to be for a larger group of people who actually want to hear the results of what the student is producing. Not that teachers don't. That's a joke, I kid. The projects that we have going on at BIG, we currently have 15 students spread out over half of a full-time educator. And the projects that we have going on right now, we have a student who is genetically modifying trees to filter nitrogen out of farm effluent. We have a student who's producing a book around popular science and oncology, trying to dispel some myths about what causes cancer and what doesn't. We have a student who's producing a computer game designed to teach other students about quantum computations. We have a student who is so good at Rubik's Cubes that he said, hey, I'd like to design one that's harder. And I looked at him and said, okay. We have a student who is currently writing a book about how you might produce the Enterprise D from Star Trek with current technology and Department of Defense funding. We have a student who is throwing a conference on women's equality and is bringing in speakers from all around the nation and raising funds to fly those people in to talk about what the glass ceiling looks like in 2013. We have a student, and it's called Success with 2 X's. We just came up with that. We have two middle school students who are designing an underwater submersible robot that does ecology studies of fish. And we're going to put it down an ice fishing hole next week. We're really excited about it. And finally, we have a student who's doing political science research through web programming and getting information through Twitter and geotagged tweets. And these are just a sample of the projects that are going on at BIG. The teachers there are designed to deliver rigorous content that's AP level through an interest of the student. And that's a slightly different model than what I would do in my traditional classroom. And it's been really, really invigorating and very fun to do. Again, I'd like to reiterate that BIG exists to hit home these 21st century skills that we think students really need to learn. And they need to do that through something that they're in love with. And so we give them a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of latitude to explore that thing. And without the work done at their 4 traditional high schools, this would be impossible. But we really think we're adding some value on top of that amazing education. And I'd like to introduce you to a project I didn't talk about. This student's name is Toy Gideon, and he's a student at Jefferson High School. And he came to me and said, I'd like to produce an album of music from Tanzania, which is where I had to leave. And I said, okay. Let's do it. And I got him a computer, and I taught him a little bit about multi-track recording. And this is what he produced in 3 weeks. The song is called Nimeya Moya, which means I have decided. It's in Swahili.
I was really interested in music stuff since when I was about 14 years old. Keep watching other people, singing, producing music, and I was I want to be like them. So when I came here and I joined the BIG, they gave me a whole laptop and a MacBook Pro, and gave me the software and the microphones and everything. Now I'm able to produce music. I only get to see my teacher once a week, then but the following week he expects to see something good. BIG is it's whatever you think you want to do, you just go there and then they just give you all you need to do that thing.
Yeye peke ndiye ajuae shida zangu zote duniani, nikiwa naye siku zote furaha, moyoni mwangu ni amani, nikiwa naye siku zote furaha, moyoni mwangu ni amani.
Thank you.
This is exciting. Cedar Rapids is one of 10 school districts that earned a grant from the Department of Education for the examination of what is called comprehensive education, CBE. And we're very pleased to be exploring these ideas and to look at how this can grow. We will not abandon the comprehensive high schools nor our K-8 program that produces wonderful students right now. That is not the purpose of these explorations. This is an enhancement, and a key word that I would leave the audience with is choice. We believe that parents and students should be able to make choice among critical paths in their education, and that those choices will lead to better engagement and therefore better outcomes for students. At this time, I want to introduce Mary Ellen Mosk, our Deputy Superintendent. She will be sharing information about the integration of technology into our existing curriculum and our learning resources. Canvas and Microsoft 365 both rolled out this year and are being used to increase communication and provide consistent place for learning resources for students and parents. As all of you know, technology is somewhat a disruptive influence in our institutions, and we, along with you, are searching for how that proper interplay exists. So with that, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Benson. Promoting and supporting innovative learning opportunities for the students in our school district to promote 21st century learners is a priority for our school, for the Cedar Rapids Community School District. This morning, I'm going to be sharing information with you about how we are using technology to enhance learning opportunities for students and also to increase the communication between parents, students, and the staff in our schools. I'm going to be talking about a program, the first thing I'll be talking about is a program called Canvas. Canvas was introduced in all of our high schools at the beginning of this school year. As I've watched Canvas roll out with teachers and with students, and I've watched them using it, I can't help but think back to my days as a teacher in the classroom and the learning that took place between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 3 o'clock p.m. The learning and the communication with my students was confined to those hours while students were in my classroom. Excuse me. And, well, that wasn't good. We'll try this again. There we go. And that is not the case with Canvas, as you're going to see in a video that we're going to be looking at. The learning goes much further than those classroom walls, and the resources that are provided to students for learning goes much further than during the time that they're at school. I also kind of have been watching, and you'll see a parent talking about Canvas in the video that we're going to share with you. I think about my own experience as a parent of 4 and the communication opportunities that Canvas provides for us. At the end of the school day, we had this routine at night. I'd say to my kids, "What'd you do at school today?" I have to mention 3 of them were males as well. So the amount of information that I got from my children about what went on at school was very, very limited. It was always kind of the same answer. We didn't do anything, nothing. So as you watch the video, you'll see that that is not the case with Canvas either. Let's take a look at the video in which students, teachers, and a parent explain how Canvas keeps them connected and provides multiple communication opportunities.
Canvas is a learning management system, so it's a website tool where they're doing part of our class online and part of our class in the classroom. In the online portion, they get to do things like discussions and take quizzes, turn in papers to me, and interact with their peers on a level that isn't available to them in just the classroom setting. I can also give students assignments that are not here in the classroom, and so if they're not here in the classroom, they can log onto the website, get the assignments, get the instructions for the assignments, contact me with just a click of the button, contact me with questions or issues that they're having, and I can get back to them very easily.
I use it all. I use computer, I use laptop, I use tablet.
It's not the learning from home on a computer using a machine to go to school, but it's still pretty close, and I like it. In chemistry, we use tablets to work in class with Canvas. It's kind of like online school in a way. It's a simplified, it allows teachers to talk with the students online and post assignments so that we can stay more connected at home and at school.
The communication between student and teacher, because now you can actually message your teacher. You don't have to have their email or anything.
Miss Bush had posted a YouTube video and it's locked so only the students on Canvas can view it from the link. And we watched the video and there's an outline in our packet and we have to fill out the outline and take some notes. And then she walks us through example problems in the video.
Now you can use those drawings to figure that out.
It's made my life as a student easier because now teachers have actually used it to do lessons. So you can just watch lessons at home and do homework during school. So it's just reversing it. So I think that's really easy. Plus, it's able to keep me alerted because it can go to my phone or to my computer if I have upcoming projects and upcoming homework.
It's really nice as a student because you can see every night what teachers have. And actually last night I thought that the video assignment for chemistry was just an open thing that we watch by the end of the week and found out that it was due today and we were supposed to have it watched today. So, I mean, just last night I could use it and it's useful for just about everyone.
As a parent, I like Canvas because I can look ahead and see what's coming. I like being able to see what my child's doing and check on assignments.
Well, they really like being able to see what I'm doing, and I pretend that it's annoying, but really it's kind of nice to know that they're watching and that it also shows that they care.
I like that the teachers sometimes communicate. Some post videos of their assignments or things that are going on in class, and others use it as an alternative to email.
Both of my parents find it interesting, so I guess also they enjoy looking back and saying, I know what that is. So part of it is they're kind of relearning and seeing us go through it.
I also use the calendar feature a lot so that I can see what is coming ahead. So I know if we have a cross-country meet, maybe we need to be looking ahead at assignments and getting a jump on things instead of waiting until the night of that meet.
Probably that the dating, knowing when something's coming up, because teachers will have things months ahead that you'll know before it. In the past, you didn't know what happened until like a week before.
It's a nice checklist, and every time I go home and do my homework, I open up my computer and I open up Canvas. I have it set so that my notifications pop up and I can close them on my home screen as I finish, and it's kind of nice to see the accomplishments you've made.
Nowadays, kids are using online resource, so it's just naturally what you know how to do.
Even throughout the year, it's progressing to become more and more useful in the classroom.
I hope you enjoyed the opportunity to see how we're expanding that learning beyond the classroom, beyond the school day, as well as enhancing those opportunities for parents to know about what's going on in the classroom, even though, as she stated, it can be annoying. Thought that was interesting. Canvas has been rolled out in all of our high school classrooms this year, and we will be rolling out Canvas at the middle school level at the beginning of the 14-15 school year. Now I'm going to introduce to you Holly Palmersheim, who is our Technology Professional Development Facilitator. Holly's going to be sharing information about another technology tool that we are using called Microsoft 365.
With the adoption of Microsoft 365, Cedar Rapids Community School District is able to offer students and staff access to some cloud-based storage, productivity and collaboration tools, email and video conferencing options in a safe and secure domain. We also have increased access to Microsoft Office at home, at school, and on a greater variety of devices. And then finally, we're providing an environment that will support preparing students to be college and career ready.
Thank you, Holly. Hope you've enjoyed learning about two initiatives that are enhancing learning opportunities for the students in the Cedar Rapids Community School District to help us carry out of our mission of preparing students for 21st century. Thank you.
It's wonderful to see that we recognize what exists through technology, and that is that learning can occur 7/24, 365. It is no longer an element that is contained within the four walls of an individual teacher's classroom. So we're very pleased. Looking forward, you know, we understand as educators the value add that we have in our community, the impact of our community both from an educational point of view and an economic point of view, but we don't exist alone, and we're trying to break those barriers down in the school district. This is a community school district, and we recognize that the community influences us greatly. For example, I know that Dee Baird is here with the Economic Alliance. The work that they do to stabilize our current employment base, to support our business climate, directly impacts the public schools. And we appreciate that and their work. We also know that the policies and practices of our city government and our county government have a direct impact on us. I want to say that the mayor, the city manager, and the city council, as well as the board of supervisors, should be commended for their flood recovery. We are on year 5. Any expert would tell you that it takes a decade to recover from a natural disaster of significance like this flood. We are on year 5, and the public school system is no longer shedding students. We are gaining students back, and I attribute that to the policies and the practices of our city and county leaders, particularly the emphasis and redevelopment of the core. So I want to call them up for special recognition and appreciation. Also, we are an institution that depends on the social safety net for many of our students. I know Lois was here earlier. Lois, are you still here? Back there. The executive director of the United Way of East Central Iowa. Lois and her efforts are instrumental in supporting education as one of their 3 theme areas, but also in support of our students through supporting the social safety net. So we are truly a community institution, and we are relying on our partner community institutions to do our work. The end result of that community approach is represented by the #1 ranking for the city of Cedar Rapids in Iowa and the 29th ranking in the nation on livability.com's top 100 best places to live. Also being recognized as #9 of top 10 and the best places to retire. So let's give our community a hand and all of our partners. As we go forward, we continue to look for opportunities to partner. I know that we're in discussions with city staff on walkable school routes and some sidewalk issues, as well as the recreation center to be located adjacent to Harrison Elementary School. So we appreciate all of those opportunities. Right now, we are going to have a special treat. We have some 4th graders from Coolidge Elementary who will let us know what they think a teacher says. You know, great teaching always works with the social climate. So the fox may say something, but teachers say other things.
Ready? Go ahead.
The new and improved lyrics were created by Mary Ellen Mosk, Marcia Hughes, Susan Van Wart, and their teacher, Nikki Lang, and their music creator, Amy Hench. Let's welcome the Coolidge students. We all know that the police officer goes, "Halt!" The nurse goes, "Stick!" The banker goes, "Cha-ching!" The dentist goes, "Drill!" The plumber goes, "Whoosh!" And the photographer goes, "Click!" But my question to you students is, exactly what does the teacher say?
Okay.
Okay, so all you professional-looking people, you have a choice to help them loosen up. You can either do a little bit of disco or show them the other. Roll, clap, clap, roll. Now, we're going out on a limb here, guys, so loosen up a little bit, okay? All right. Okay, everybody, we can tone that down now and get ready to tell them all that stuff, okay? 1, 2, here you go.
Well, that was great, kids. We really appreciate you coming out and sharing with us what you think teachers say. Wah, 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 wah.
Sorry, we couldn't resist.
Yeah. And their director, Amy Hanisch. Thank you. All right. We have a special treat today. We're going to conclude with some words, and I'm proud to introduce one of our own. Dr. Brad Buck grew up in Cedar Rapids, graduated from Jefferson High School. He has enjoyed a successful career as an educator and an administrator here in Iowa, and he has just been appointed in the last few months, probably seems longer than that, by Governor Branstad to serve as director of the Department of Education. Dr. Buck is an innovative leader and collaborator with the right skills to implement the education reform package passed in 2013 by the legislature. As director, he is focused on helping Iowa's educational system implement this work, and you can see elements of that work in our presentation today. I know that he respects and supports individuality of Iowa communities and the vision and priorities set at the state level. Dr. Buck is a graduate of Iowa State University, where he received his PhD and his master's degree. He received his baccalaureate degree from the University of Northern Iowa. He lives in Urbandale with his wife Tracy and their 6 children. Please join me in welcoming home Dr. Buck.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. When Dr. Benson invited me to come do this, I jumped at the chance. I love Cedar Rapids. I'm proud to be from Cedar Rapids. I would be proud to return to Cedar Rapids, but that'll take some more conversation with my wife and my 6 kids. But anyway, I digress. So I was excited to watch what's unfolding today, and the reason for that is this. The work that's underway in Cedar Rapids is running right in tandem with what we're trying to accomplish at the state level. And the examples I would give are these. We recognize that the magic happens in the intersection between the teacher, the child, and the content in some meaningful learning activity. And to me, and predicated around some coaching model, and so for us, sort of at the state level, that's the teacher leadership and compensation system and the excitement we have around sort of rolling all that out and what we think that's going to do for Iowa schools. The example I heard today that's in tandem with that is the Garfield example. Right? The Garfield example is high quality coaching, teachers feeling supported, so a raising of expectations of what we would hope to see in classrooms with our teachers, and at the same time resourcing them in a way that helps them continue to be even more successful. Associated with that is leadership. So one of the key components of this whole storyline about how do we improve Iowa schools, and in particular Cedar Rapids schools and individual schools, is the power of leadership. And we heard the principal from Garfield say, I'm doing the work that I've always wanted to do. And I believe that about the leaders in the state. And so I think it's important as we see sort of all this rollout that we think about what that means. So that's sort of the micro important intersection. Then what we also hear today, and it's exciting, is the need to be innovative if we really want our kids to be prepared to be 21st century learners. And the way we talk about that at the state level is we talk about college career readiness, citizenship, those things, but it's really intended to be, I believe, probably the similar conversation. So you hear that in the big, and you hear that in the use of technology, and you sort of hear all those pieces. So what I'm encouraged by when I'm in Cedar Rapids today is that Cedar Rapids and the Department of Ed, and I believe our AEAs are in this narrative as well, really trying to take advantage of where we think education's headed in Iowa. The other thing I would say is this, another example of an intersection between specifically the Department of Ed and Cedar Rapids schools is the Competency-Based Education Initiative. And we believe the Competency-Based Education Initiative holds great promise for Iowa's kids. And so it's exciting to see Cedar Rapids as a part of that endeavor. I'm confident that we'll learn from Cedar Rapids' experiences, and they will help guide future thinking around that important concept in Iowa schools. So here's the other thing. So this is way more straight than I usually do this. So for the people that know me, it's partly because I'm just jacked up. It's so great to see, so you get this invitation, and it's healthy for me to continually be informed about the great things that are happening in Iowa schools, in this particular case, the great things that are happening in Cedar Rapids schools. So I have to throw this in. So I'm a dad of 6 kids. I know. And so we are in the show choir cult, okay? And that's probably, I should probably say that. So we're in the show, we are a show choir family. And so what I'm a little fearful of, though, is when I see these 4th graders get up here and I see the awesome, amazing work they're doing, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Waukees got West Side Delegation and others in their rearview mirror, and here's another generation coming up. They look like they're ready to go. So that's probably just the dad moment. So I didn't intend to talk long today, so I do just want to give this, just encouragement around keep up the great work in Cedar Rapids. It's to the benefit of the kids in Cedar Rapids, but also ultimately to the benefit of the community. So thanks for your time today, and just thanks for a moment.
Thank you, Dr. Buck. Those were perfect remarks. Try to tie this together. I hope that you walk away feeling that this was a good investment of your time today to learn more about your community school. We have wonderful faculty and staff doing great things with kids right now in those classrooms across the district. But we are not content to stay an institution anchored in the past. We understand that technology is a disruptive influence, and we are dealing with that and trying to move the institution forward. I want to thank you for your attendance this morning. Thank you for your continued support for Cedar Rapids community and the community school district that represents this community. And I wish everyone a great holiday season. Thank you for attending.